Hello, I'm Amy Baghetti, a librarian at the Basler Library on the Northeast State Bloomfield campus. Today, I want to talk to you about finding sources for mythological research. First, what is mythology? The technical definition from the Merriam-Webster dictionary is the myths dealing with gods, demigods, and legendary heroes of a particular people. What does this really mean, though? Myths are part of history, religion, literature, the verbal storytelling traditions from the early days of man to the ghost stories your grandfather told you in front of the fire as a child on cold winter days. It's produced psychological theories, literature, film, art. Basically, because it's part of our lives, it has touched all parts of our cultures. For your research, this means that you can search in a lot of different places and find information about mythology. Mostly, where you search depends on what your assignment is and what you want to write about in your work. You are not limited to the literature databases because you are probably in an English course. First, we're going to look at the library's online catalog. The reason I'm starting here is that the online catalog is the easiest way to find books and ebooks. Book sources cover a broad area of information and are very useful when you research mythological stories or characters. So let's go and leave this and let's go and find the library homepage. First, you go to the Northeast State homepage. Then you go and look under Students and go to Library. Now that you're on the library homepage, you can go and start searching here from this part of the catalog. I actually like to click on this link to go directly into the library catalog. Now that we're on the main page of the online catalog, you can enter your search terms here. Let's say we've been assigned a paper on comparing and contrasting 3 different trickster gods, and we chose Jack, Anansi, and Loki. For those of you who don't know, Jack is not just the Jack of Jack and the Beanstalk fame. Jack also features heavily in Appalachian storytelling traditions, which makes this fun as we can tie this paper into our local area. First, we are going to type in Jack Tales. And then we are going to limit our search to library collections and from all libraries to Northeast State Library and hit search. As you can see, there are a lot of results, and you can limit those to ones available online or held by the library, or if you want both, you can do books and ebooks. This is going to make a difference depending on whether your classes are maybe completely online or if you're able to come to one of the campuses to pick up physical materials. But let's say we just want books, so we're going to do held by library. Now that will also show us videos and other things as well. Any physical item you can check out at the library. Okay, so you can see we have 2 copies of Jack Tales. And this says ETSU and other locations. That just means it's there and here on this campus as well. So let's say you want to look at this book, Jack Tales. Now this is the actually classic book that talks about these different stories. You can see it's here and available at the Northeast State at Bloomfield campus. And just copy down, if you want this book, just copy down the call number. And you can come get it in person, or if you want it sent to another campus, you can sign in here and then click on Northeast State Community College, enter your username and your password. Now this is the same username and password that you would use if you are going to log into the online databases as well, or your Microsoft 360, Outlook, StuMail email. Remember that the library login and the database login is different from your D2L because it has a different password sometimes. If you have problems logging in anywhere, just contact the library staff for assistance. Now, if you want this sent to another campus, all you have to do is hit request, and all of your information is automatically filled in except the pickup location. And you can choose one of Northeast State's other campuses at Elizabethton, Johnson City, and Kingsport. And Johnson City, let's see, yeah, I covered Johnson City. If you come to this campus, we actually do prefer for you to go try to find the book yourself, just because we like you to learn how to navigate the library. Okay, but if you need help, again, we're always around to give you assistance. Okay, now I'm not going to finish filling out this form because I don't want them to pull the book for me, since this is just an example. But let's go back then. I'm going to go ahead and sign out of my account. Okay, let's do another search for the second topic on our paper, Anansi. Let's see, come here. Anansi. And this is a African trickster character from African mythology. And let's change that to library collections and Northeast State and see what comes up. Now, as you can see, we have 13 results. And right here's one that might help you. The Annotated African American Folk Tales. This might have some information about him. If you don't find what you want, you can always go broader. And you can try African folk tales or African mythology and see what comes up. So any of these books right here, like the African folk tales, or let's see, Tales from the African Bush, The Girl Who Married Other Tales, any of these might have information about Anansi in them. You'll just have to look into the books and see if the information is there. So remember, if you don't find what you need immediately, you can always broaden your search to a different, to a more broad topic that will probably cover the smaller topic you want to write about. Okay, so now let's do another search for our third topic for this imaginary paper, Norse mythology. We'll do library collections again, and then Northeast State. Now, as you can see on this one, we have a lot of online results. So let's pick one. Norse mythology, Tales of the Gods, Sagas, and Heroes, and click Available Online. As you can see here, it's part of our ebooks, EBSCO ebook collection. Simply click on the link there, and that will take you to the record if you want to use this ebook. And I'll talk more about this in our next section. As you can see from these results, there are a mixture of online and physical items. Don't forget, you can limit it to held by library for physical items, or available online for online-only materials. Okay, now let's go back to our PowerPoint slides. Now, you might be thinking about the online databases. Which online database should I use for my research? The cool thing is, really, again, you can use any database you want. It all depends on the scope of your assignment or the paper you're writing about. That's totally up to you. But first, I do go, and before we get into the subject-specific databases, I like to show everyone our EBSCO ebook database. Let's go to that and take a look. Now, if you go back to the A to Z database page, you can see the ebook collection EBSCO is right here under the broad coverage databases. Now, I like to go and especially use this when I'm working with students who have all online courses, because it makes it easier for them to find materials here rather than try to come onto campus at Blountville or one of the other campuses to pick up materials. So let's search for Babylonian mythology. And let's see what comes up. As you can see, we've got 6 results. And a lot of it looks like it might be very useful. We also have an idea right here about Mesopotamian gods and goddesses. Now, Babylon was part of Mesopotamia at one point. You could search for Mesopotamian mythology as well to help expand your search. But we'll just go ahead and say this first item will be a good pick for you to look at. And you just click on that. And that will open up the record and you can download it. You've got a citation button here. Permalink, you can save to get back to this later. One thing I find most useful though is especially depending on if you're looking for a specific god or goddesses. As you can see, when you click on the table of contents, there's a list of all the different gods or the major gods. And also you can go into the index and look for different characters here as well. So let's look for one I didn't see on the list and see if they have anything. Tiamat, right here. Tiamat is a goddess that I have heard of before. So you can see, even though she does not have her own chapter here, you can go in and find information about her in the index. Okay? Alrighty. Now let's go back. So that's a little bit on how you search the EBSCO ebook database. Let's continue on back to the database page. So we can look in these subject-specific databases. Okay, I like to use these subject-specific databases first because they provide more specific results than the broad coverage databases. Go to the drop-down menu that says All Subjects, and as you can see, we have a lot of different ones. But let's choose History for our first search. Once you are on the history page, click on JSTOR here in the Best Bets box. Let's say we're going to research about Roman worship of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Click on Advanced Search, and then we're going to enter our keywords. Isis and Egyptian. We're going to add another search box and Rome. Now, by doing Isis and Egyptian and Rome, this is going to limit our results to materials that only have those 3 words in it, meaning that we'll get less sources than we would if we just search for Isis, Egyptian, Rome on the JSTOR homepage. So let's go ahead and hit Submit Advanced Search. Let's see. Now, as you can see, we got 6,000 results. And this is where you have to think about your search terms from. For instance, we're getting results right here about ISIS. Not the goddess, but the terrorist organization. How are we going to differentiate between ISIS and ISIS? Let's try searching for the ISIS cult in the search within box right here. And let's put that in quotations because ISIS was considered, the worship of ISIS was considered a cult in Roman times. So let's go ahead and hit search. And that's going to limit it down from over 6,000 to 178 results. Now, you can also limit it in various different ways. I like doing it by subject here. And you can choose which ones you want to explore. If you want to limit it down. Or you can just kind of skim through here and look at the results. And see what you might think would work for your paper. Let's see. The persecution of the Jews and the adherents of the Isis cult in Rome, AD 19. So we'll take a look at this article. And as you can see, it says view 50 search matches. If you look at that, it has different page numbers where it has the search terms you entered are on the pages here in the article. So it actually gives you that information. You click on and look at it. Another thing I like to do, of course, is download and save a copy of the paper on my computer. You can email it to yourself if you want. Here's a DOI number that will take you directly back into the article, and here's a stable URL you can copy. Also, we have the citing right here, depending on how you would want to cite this. Just remember, anytime you use that tool, to double check your work. But here's your article. You can just sit here and read through it. And that's how you would use JSTOR to search for mythology. Let's go back again to the A to Z database page. And then let's go into philosophy and religion. Because again, you have to remember, mythology to one person is religion to another. And it's one of the reasons why you have to be very careful when you talk about this, because you want to respect everyone and their beliefs. But let's go ahead and do religion and philosophy, our GALE database here. And for this search, let's say we're comparing and contrasting mythological strongmen. Enkidu from Babylonian mythology, Hercules from Greek and Roman, and Samson from the Christian religion. Okay, so let's start out with Samson and see what we find. Now there's 900 different articles on here, so this is going to be a good time when you might want to consider adding some different search terms in. We're going to use the search within box over here, just so you can see what it looks like. And we're going to add Enkidu in here to see if we can find any articles that talk about them both or comparing them. So Enkidu. And look, there's 6 different articles. That any of these might be useful, like Echoes of Gilgamesh and the Jacob story, or The Wild Man in the Bible in the Ancient Near East. This compares the 2 different characters as wild men, and which is very interesting. I actually skimmed through this article earlier when I was prepping for this. So as you can see, there's several different results that might be useful. We can also go back into our original result and see if we can't find something. Let's search within with Hercules. And you can see there's 17 different articles here. You can skim through these and see if you find any results that you think might be useful. That would be how you would search in the religion and philosophy database. Again, I don't feel like I need to go in the articles because it's pretty much the exact same as any other database I'm showing you, where once you're in there, you can save it, you can cite it, you can copy a permanent link. Most of the databases have all the same features like that. They just all look a little different. Okay, and let's go in actually and look at one of the literature databases as well, because you never know what kind of topic you are going to write about. So let's go back into library, databases, all subjects and literature. And let's go into our Gale literary database. And we're going to choose this one because instead of writing about different characters, we're going to write about a story that is a take off of another mythological story. C.S. Lewis's Till We Have Faces, which is a retelling of the story of Psyche and Cupid. It's actually one of my favorite books, which is why I chose it. So type in the title of your book, Till We Have Faces. Now you're going to see a drop-down menu right here I usually try to click on the best one for my research. And you can see there's several different articles here that talk about the novel and how it relates to the mythological story. And so this might help you depending on what you're trying to talk about when you write that paper. Okay? And so as you can see, there is a lot of ways that you can go and you can search in our different databases. You don't have to be limited just to the literature databases to get good results for your mythology paper. Okay, but let's say that you can't find the information you need in the library's resources. So what do you do next? Well, you open up a new browser tab and you can Google. Now, Googling sources can be a really great thing, or it can be kind of scary because you never know if the materials you get on here are scholarly or not. So let's go ahead and look up Tiamat from the Babylonian mythological pantheon, okay? Now, as you can see, we have a lot of different results here. We have one from a fandom wiki. We have one that looks like it's from an educational entity, a museum, probably at a university in Pennsylvania. Here's another one that looks like it's a European one. So when you have all this, how do you tell what's good and what's bad? Well, the librarians like to use a little thing called the crap test. Yes, I know, ha ha ha, it's a funny name, but it is it will stick in your head if you use those words, or you use that word. So let's go ahead and type in crap. Now it has 2 A's in there. And let's see, there's crap test. Let's hit enter. Now, I just usually pull up one from another library. So let's see. Thank you, Ovid Library. And here you go. And you can find this anywhere. That's one of the things I want to tell you. Most of the libraries have their own version of this. And that way you can go in and you can pull this up anytime. And if you're in doubt, apply this criteria to the website you're looking at. Is it current? Now, this is more for materials like nursing, science, that sort of thing, that have to have very current materials to be relevant in their research. Not so important for mythology. Is it relevant? When you talk about is it relevant for, you're talking about does it relate to my topic and have a lot of good information about it? Or is it something that mentions it maybe once and I could throw it in as a source to have it? But that's probably not a good idea. You don't want to do that. Another thing here is under the relevant is who is it written for? Is it written for kids or is it written for adults? Because as college students, you need to use age-appropriate materials, okay? Another thing, is it authoritative? Can you trust the author? Can you tell who the author is? Do they have a reputation to protect? Same thing, is it from an organization that you respect? Is it student work or is it college level work? If you find a student paper that talks about your subject, you should not use that as a source because students aren't experts yet in their field. You want to use materials from places where the people who are writing it know what they're talking about. Okay? Now, the one exception to that is if you get a dissertation or a thesis. Those are vetted by usually 3 professors who are experts in the field, and that's sort of your way of earning your master's or your doctorate. So those are actually student work that you can use in papers. But remember, just to make sure that it's good information from someone you can trust. Next, is it accurate? If they have a lot of mistakes, If they don't have any references, if there's broken links, stuff like that, don't trust them. If they don't care enough to go and make error corrections on their page, to proofread it, or to fix broken links once in a while, then it probably means that they don't really care about the information they're putting out there either. Finally, what is its purpose? If they're trying to sell you something, or if they're trying to persuade you about something, be wary. That can go, and that means that they may be skewing the information in a way that is not entirely accurate. Okay, but as you can see, you can pull up this CRAP test just by Googling it. So just remember CRAAP. And let's go ahead and look at some of these other sources for Tiamat. Now let's look at this. Now Wiki. Now most of you guys know, like Wikipedia, anything like this, these can be edited by anyone. So let's go ahead and click on this. So as you can see, there's lots of advertising, recent wiki activity, lots of people have been on here editing stuff, and it has some interesting descriptions and pictures. But this probably isn't a good source because A, anyone can go and anyone can edit this, as you can see from all the little edit buttons. And anyone can go in and edit this. Anyone can correct it. So you cannot tell whether or not this is good information or not. So just like Wikipedia and where else, you can actually look at the different references. And if you see something that isn't related to a role-playing game, and also, I'll be honest with you, this goes back to relevance too. This really has nothing to do with the mythology. This is all about a role-playing game. So we can safely say that this is probably not going to be something you want to use for your research for many different reasons. Okay, so let's go back to our search results. And let's go over here to a museum from a university in Pennsylvania. Let's see who it is. Okay, so we have Ancient Mesopotamian Gods and Goddesses here. You can see it has a list of deities and homepage. So we're looking at this, has lots of information. It's by a college with a good reputation. Let's go back and to the homepage and see what this is about. The Mesopotamian literary corpus is one of the oldest literature in the world. For the research. Let's see. Let's go to about the project since the home. And let's skim through this and see who is making this. Now, as you can see, if you go down here, here's the project team. And it's got, let's see, the project team consists of people from different colleges, it looks like, and universities. It's hosted by, oh wow, consultants, Oxford, Yale. Okay, so these look like they're good people. I mean, good, solid scholars that will be scholarly about their work. So we can go back into the list of deities and go back down to Tiamat. And even though this does not go and does not have, like say an author for this particular article, you can see it has references and different links that might be useful for your papers. So you can trust this site, and bonus, you have different links you can click on to other places that talk about Tiamat. Like, woohoo! Anytime you find references on a good page, explore them. That way you can go and maybe get more information from these sources. It's a really, really useful trick when you're researching. Okay, and so as you can see, let's go back. We just looked and discerned that one source was not good and one source was good by using our CRAP test criteria. So now here are a few tips I've noticed as I've been researching mythology more lately. One thing you have to do is check the name spellings for different people, places, books, and cultures. I've run into several problems with spelling when it comes to different names of gods and goddesses and the places they come from. One person may spell it with an A, one person may spell it with an E, and then you go and you see like research on the internet that's spelled this way, but then you get in to the older research, like say in JSTOR when you're searching on a database, and the name's spelled just a one letter different. But because of that, you don't find those sources that you can use. So again, try to go and catch it if you find references to different name spellings, different spellings for different areas, especially mythological texts, like different historical names for different physical areas. You know, when I first started researching Babylonian mythology, then I realized that it was a smaller part of Mesopotamian mythology, because Babylon was contained in the geographical area of Mesopotamia. And even better, before Babylon was in Mesopotamia, Sumeria was in Mesopotamia. So there's differences between each of them, but you can kind of go and get confused between the geographical areas of the current time you're researching and then in the past. So again, just be careful, be thoughtful about how you search for locations, especially in a historical context. Let's see. And again, just remember, be patient and try new search terms. If you don't find what you need the first time, think of a broader or more narrow search term. Think of ways to limit your results. If you get 9,000 results when you're searching the database, try to think of different terms that can help you narrow those results down without trying to go through 9,000 different papers. Now, and ultimately, the last thing I really want to tell you to do is you can always get help from your friendly librarians. Here's the information about how to contact us, and also if we go back into the library site, you can see right here we have a Get Help link as well as a Get Help button here. And you can submit a question, you can call us, you can text us, email us. Most of the time the librarians are here online. You can chat with us. Another thing you can do is schedule an appointment one-on-one or via Zoom. Because we know a lot of people are doing online classes right now. We can work with you via Zoom and help you with your research. We don't mind a bit. So, anywho, that is my presentation. And I hope this helps you find sources for your mythology research. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and good luck.